In the previous class, we have studied about useful microorganisms. So now we will study about harmful microorganisms. There are many microorganisms that causes harm to animals, plants, and humans. So these harmful microorganisms are broadly classified into two categories, that is disease-causing microbes and food spoilage microbes. So some are causing diseases and some are spoiling the food. So they are classified into two categories, disease-causing microbes and food spoilage microbes. So first of all, we will see the disease-causing microbes. The disease-causing microbes means the microbes which cause disease in other living organisms, including humans also. So those type of microorganisms or microbes are called pathogens. These pathogens are present in air, water, and food. So diseases can be spread. Some of the diseases are there that can be spread by direct physical contact with the infected person through air, water, food, or contact. For example, common cold. When we are sneezing, when a common cold, a person with common cold is sneezing near you, or sometimes it is transmitting through the air, and then you are also getting the common cold. So this type of diseases are called communicable disease, or you can say that the disease that can spread from one person to another person, those type of diseases are called common cold diseases. Along with this, there are some other diseases which are get transmitted from an infected to a healthy person through carriers of microbes such as mosquitoes and houseflies. For example, fevers like malaria and dengue, they are transmitted by different types of mosquito. So in your book you can see the table. Some of the communicable diseases are given in the human beings and in the plants and in the animals also. Some of the common diseases are given, that is malaria, typhoid, tuberculosis, or common cold. They are having pathogens, means through the pathogens they are transmitted, but they can be cured, or preventive measures are there for all the diseases. So here you can see, first of all, malaria, the mode of transmission is female Anopheles mosquito, its pathogen is protozoa, and its preventive measures don't allow this to thrive in the locality. Use repellents and nets. So we should use mosquito nets or mosquito repellents. The next is our cholera, contaminated, it comes, means mode of transmission is contaminated food and water, its pathogen is bacterium, and preventive measures, maintenance of proper sanitation process, boiling water, avoid uncovered food. For typhoid, mode of transmission is contaminated food, pathogen is bacteria, and preventive measures, maintenance of proper sanitation practices. For tuberculosis and common cold, mode of transmission is air. For tuberculosis, pathogen is bacterium, and for common cold it is virus. For tuberculosis, preventive measure is vaccination, and for common cold, wash hands regularly, avoid close contact with the infected person. So similarly, these are the diseases, the common diseases found in humans. So similarly, some other diseases are there which are found in the animals caused by the microbes, that is foot and mouth disease in cattle, that is mode of transmission is air, contact with the diseased animals, and pathogen is virus. So similarly, anthrax, that also found in cattle, mode of transmission grazing, pathogen is bacterium. Rinderpest, that is also in cattle, and mode of transmission is air, contaminated water, contact with diseased animals, pathogen is virus. Similarly, some other diseases are caused by microbes in plants also, like citrus canker, that is mode of transmission is air, pathogen is bacterium. Rust of wheat, that is air and seeds, pathogen is fungus. Apple scab, mode of transmission is air, pathogen is fungus. Commonly, we can say that these disease-causing microbes using pathogen and carriers can transmit disease from an infected person to a healthy person. Now, let us see food spoilage microbes. So, microorganisms such as fungi and bacteria, these are responsible for the spoilage of various foodstuffs, because the microbes start growing and they need suitable conditions to start growing, and they start grow in warm temperature, moisture, and air. So, these are the suitable environment. Warm temperature, moisture, and air is the suitable environment for the microbes to grow, and then they spoil the food. They produce toxic substances which make the food unfit for consumption and may cause serious illness due to food poisoning. So the microorganisms like fungi and bacteria, these are mainly responsible for the spoilage of foodstuffs because they are growing on the food and producing toxic substance which make the food unfit for consumption, and they make this type of food may cause food poisoning. So when warm temperature or air and moisture is there, they produce toxic substances, or the microbes produce toxic substances which make the food unfit for consumption. So this growth of harmful microborne food stuff can be indicated by foul odor, means the smell will not be good, slimy or cotton like growth on the surface of the food, change of surface color. You might have seen sometimes the food color is changing, that means it is getting spoiled, sour taste and gas formation. So all these are the indications so that you can identify that this foodstuffs has become spoiled, because after the food has been spoiled, it is giving a foul odor, slimy or cotton like growth on the surface, change of surface color, sour taste or gas formation. So next is our food preservation. Food preservation means to store food for long time. So to store food for long time or long period of time, it needs to be protected from microbial growth. This is called food preservation, or you can say the process of treating food materials to preserve them for longer time, that is called food preservation. So there are some common methods of food preservation, like boiling the liquid items, milk or water is boiling to kill the microorganisms. Dehydration means removal of water. Then canning, storing the food items in a tight container. Sometimes we are refrigerating, means we are keeping some food items in the freeze to prevent the microbial growth. Then we are using some chemical preservatives. Then sometimes we are using in the pickle and all salt, sugar, oil or vinegar, so that the microbes cannot grow. Then next is our pasteurization. So we will study about these methods. In your books you can see the table is given. That is, first method is boiling. Boiling liquid food items can kill any existing microbes. Milk and water are often boiled to kill any harmful microbes may be present in them. Then dehydration means removal of water. Dehydration means removal of water, which is the main requirement for microbial growth from food items. Cereals and pulses are generally dried under the sun. Then canning means storing the food items in airtight containers like jams, fishes, vegetables, etc. Refrigeration and freezing means refrigeration at low temperature and freezing help to preserve food for longer time, since low temperature are not suitable for the growth of most microbes. So we are refrigerating meat and vegetables, we are preserving by this method, because microbes need warm temperature. In low temperature they are not able to grow. Then using some chemical preservatives like sodium benzoate and potassium metabisulfate are used in squashes, ketchups and sherbets. All these chemicals are used. Sodium benzoate, potassium metabisulfate, all these things are used. Then using salt, sugar, oil or vinegar, these they did not allow the microbes to grow. So this substance, in addition to preserving, also add to flavor of food. So using this means after using we are getting a flavor also, and they don't allow the microbes to grow. Then pasteurization is a very common example of preservation of milk. Commercially available milk is heated to high temperature for about a minute and then cooled and stored at temperatures lower than 10 degrees Celsius. In Indian households, milk is boiled before consumption. So first of all, whatever commercial milk we are getting, that is heated at high temperature for a minute and then cooled down and stored in less than 10 degrees Celsius temperature. Then after bringing to home, we are again boiling the milk before consumption, so that the microorganisms will be killed, or they will not be able to grow on that food stuffs. So this is all about food preservation. The next class we will study about the nitrogen cycle.